So let me tell y'all a story of how Friedrich Nietzsche saved my life. I wouldn't say saved per se, more like changed. But let me just tell you how it happened, okay? So it was about 20 years ago, 19 to be more precise. It was 2006. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I was going to school. I started school at 23, okay? I was going to school part-time. I was taking like one class per semester. I was still fucking just hanging out with the homies, man. Like, I was just hanging out with them, like, my whole weekend. Like, we would smoke weed. We would just hang out at clubs, spend money, get in fights. And it was just like, I had no life pretty much after high school. Like, first 6 years of my life after high school. I just started going to college when I was 23. I just didn't do shit. Okay? I'll explain it later, but Nietzsche. So 2006, I watched Little Miss Sunshine. And, there's a scene in there where they're talking about Friedrich Nietzsche. The kid has a painting of him on a wall, and Steve Carell's like, hey, man, is that Nietzsche? And I was like, I heard that name before. Let me look this motherfucker up. And holy shit, I discovered Nietzsche. All right? I've read Beyond Good and Evil, and then I've read Thus Spake Zarathustra. And my whole life, man, I'm telling you, my whole outlook on the world changed. I realized the way I saw myself. I had the slave mentality. Because he talks about slave mentality and master mentality or morality, whatever. I think in some translations it's morality, some translations mentality. I remember it being as mentality, but now people talk about morality. So I realized that I was seeing myself as a victim. I saw myself as a victim. I saw the world as cruel. I came to the States as a refugee with my parents when I was 11, early 90s. And, we had nothing. We pretty much grew up poor. And I'm sorry, if you were born in America and you're poor, you have no idea what it's like to be poor, all right? People like from third world countries, they'll tell you what it's like to be poor, man. Like, we were poor, all right? And I didn't come here with no money. I'm not like one of those immigrants who come here with money and, just goes back to visit. I have no place to go back to visit, all right? I'm literally banned from my country because of my ethnic origin. So, yeah, we came over here, $40 in my dad's pocket, broke as fuck, Like back then, it was early 90s, government didn't pay for shit, We were sponsored by the Lutheran Church, but paying back everything. Dad worked 2 jobs, mom worked 2 jobs. We're busting our ass, paycheck to paycheck. Finally got a house, about 6 years later, got out of the Section 8 housing. And, my parents never cared, never went to one of the teachers' associations. They're like, hey, man, we brought you to America, you take care of yourself. And, nobody helped me. I remember in school, there was a counselor, and he was like, what do you want to do when you grow up? I was like, I don't know. Maybe make movies. And he started laughing at me. And it's like, I never even took the SATs. Nobody cared. They just wanted me to go away. They would just go away. So, and I kind of saw myself as a victim. I was like, fuck this shit, I'm not privileged like these motherfuckers. I don't have no fucking stocks coming. My parents are broke, And I hung around with the wrong crowd. I did bad things, man. I did really bad things. I sold drugs even on several occasions. I wasn't a drug dealer per se, but I did terrible things to make money. I've had a gun pointed at me 3 times. I've been shot at once, and it's like, thank God, knock on wood, It's just I've lost friends. Some of my friends got killed. Some of my friends OD'd. And it's just, a lot of them went to prison for stupid shit. And I was just hanging around the wrong place at the wrong time all the time, And I was just hanging around with that crowd. It's like, we had nothing to do. And my life was pointless. I had no goal. I had no ambitions, nothing. And then I was like, I went back to school because my parents kept insisting. They're like, go do. I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was going to school and shit, just taking classes, just, electives. And then I read Nietzsche. And then I read about the morality and the mentality. And I realized, you know what, man? Nobody knows what we're doing on this planet, all right? Not your teacher, not your priest, not your parents. Like, we're all just like, we're animals in a jungle, and we created a set of rules. And we're all like trying to abide by these set of rules. And the being of slave mentality is thinking, hey, man, this is what life gave me. I suck, I'm poor, let me hate the rich man. Let me hate the rich because they have, I don't, I'll have my shit when I die in the heaven. And it's like just, no, man, I wanted to change, all right? I wanted to change. And, and that's where his idea of the Uberman comes in, of the Superman, because we all have that inside of us. And I said I wanted to change, I realized I'm different from my friends. All right, I'm sorry, call me an egomaniac. I don't give a fuck anymore. Trust me. That's why I'm making this video. Like 10 years ago, I wouldn't be able to make this video because I would care what people say. I don't care. My ego woke up. I realized, hey, man, I am the only one amongst my friends who has ideas. I had 400 characters in my head. I had stories. I had books. I started writing my books, my sci-fi series. I started painting. I started taking my art more seriously. And I was like, realizing, I started getting away from my friends. I didn't want to hang out with them no more. I didn't want to be shot at for no fucking reason. I didn't want to just smoke weed all day and just sit in the garage thinking, where's the next party, man? I didn't want to do that no more. I wanted to learn. I wanted to study as much as I can. And I guess people start hating me for it, but it is what it is, man. And my ego woke up. I wanted to be the Uberman. I wanted to be the best version of myself I could possibly be. I started working out nonstop every day. I started learning. I started just taking classes. I went to school full time. And then eventually, it got so bad. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do construction. I quit my job. I quit my job construction, and I went back to live with my parents. People made fun of me. Hey, man, look at this guy. He's 20, He's living with his parents. I didn't care. I went working security just so I could pass school. And even though I graduated an English lit degree that was useless, people made fun of me. I thought I was going to be the, famous writer. But whatever, my path led me to work for a company that's worth $30 billion now. It was a small-ass company back then, and indirectly, it made change. My whole life changed because of Nietzsche. I wanted to be the Superman, and people hated me. I remember people telling me, oh my God, you like Nietzsche? Do you know what Nietzsche said about women? I'm like, okay, does that make me a misogynist? Do you know what the Bible says about women? Or I don't know. So, because that's the way I see Nietzsche's work. It's you can translate it one way, you can translate it the other way. And then another person who was a friend of mine was Jewish. She's like, oh my God, so that makes you an anti-Semite. I'm like, shut the fuck up, man. Just shut the fuck up. It's just... And then, of course, the left-wingers, they hate Nietzsche. They hate Nietzsche. Oh, man, that's a fascist. Uberman. Yes, that's it. Nazis. Shut the fuck up, man. All that bullshit, man. It's Nietzsche made me realize of my potential. He made me change my life. He made me change everything. He made me concentrate on my art. He made me concentrate on all the skills that I have. Because he made me believe in myself. Nobody ever did. Nobody ever believed in me the way I did, okay? And all because of, I know it wasn't because of him, but he helped me sow a vision. And I know I can get a lot of this from existentialism, from Soren Kierkegaard. He was kind of like the father of existentialism. But for me, the introduction was through Nietzsche. I even did a painting of Nietzsche where he's fighting tarantulas. And if you know what tarantulas are in the story, then yeah. So yeah, my 10 minutes are almost up. So yeah, Friedrich Nietzsche, great philosopher. Definitely read him. Maybe he'll help you the way he helped me. I don't know.